Well, howdy there, daylight burners. Happy Wednesday. How the hell's it going? Been a pretty good week. It hasn't been too bad for me here. Uh, Mother Nature just, I was talking to somebody the other day, or I guess today, and Mother Nature's just a real fickle. Yeah, he's the hell out of you. It's real nice. Colder and shit in the morning. Wind blows. Yeah, springtime. Gotta love it. Grasses, well, we don't have any grass. It's a desert, but alfalfa fields are starting to green up, and yeah, it'll start looking real nice. So, um, it'll look a lot better than the Suez Canal. I can tell you that. Hey, what a shit show that was. I was, I just saw a whole bunch of memes about a clapped out excavator trying to push a fucking cargo ship, and yeah, kind of up and yeah, holy shit. Turns out they blocked the whole goddamn Suez Canal, which um kind of a big deal. I know we're a little out in this part of the world. Boy, that's says 12% of the world's shipping. Most of the shit on Earth gets transported by a ship. Most of the stuff here in the in country trucks. Um, most of it's gonna be on the ship. And 12% of all the world's shipping goes through. So it's about a 120-mile stretch that saves thousands of miles that they don't have to float down around the Cape of Good tip of Africa, and then up into Western Europe, wherever. But anyway, this basically takes them Persian. I think it's the Persian Gulf, Mediterranean Sea. Um, Basically bypassing Africa. Um, I said something like 400 ships were lined up. I don't know if 100 total or if that was side of the canal. And this thing just looked like an Austin Powers movie. And and the little excavator trying to push it out looked out like a campaigning and was trying to chop down a tree. Well, I mean it showed what it was very very apparent there. See, um, however that there was some really good memes came out of the. I tried to make a few, but they none of them really stuck. But anyhow, I guess if you haven't figured it out so far, this is Vince Post Politics for the week. Aaron is getting white girl wasted down on Panama Beach. Um, Actually, he was dad drink Bloody Marys in an airport. Nice. Um. So anyway, he'll be back tomorrow. I wanted to give a one hellacious shout out to one of the most influential authors Western genre. Clara Mcmurtry passed. I forget 80s. Um. So I mean, not a huge surprise. The guy was. Um. But he was a very important author. One of the one of the best of our times, I think. Yeah, he started well before my time. Um, just look right there, at Creek Cattle Company. I mean, he wrote the Western epic. Uh, there's no there's no close second even. Lonesome Dove and everything else. And he was a very prolific writer. I mean, you have all the Lonesome Dove series, which you know, I know a lot of people like him. I think he should have just left Lonesome Dove well enough alone. But hey, money talks, and they're still pretty good stories. It's just hard to it's hard to compete with the masterpiece like that. Um, so if you're in the book club, I guess this is coming out on 31st. So um, you can listen to this. If you're listening to it on 31st, then you'll know this is not an April Fool's joke. Lonesome Dove is going to be the book of the month for the book club. I'm going to try to set up something to discuss the previous book, but anyhow, I downloaded the audiobook. By the way, fuck Audible. I heard that they are refusing to work with like conservative people to do book clubs and stuff. And if that's the case, I'll spend my money. Seems like all these damn woke social media people keep pushing me more and more towards Apple. Apple seems to be the only one that gives a fuck privacy. They're not real great on censorship, but none of them are. But I guess of I don't know, man. They're seems like they're the best of a bunch of shitty companies. And so I guess I'll probably buy my. I used what I had a credit for Audible. I used it and then it canceled my subscription. Probably end up renewing it because they're probably better than I. One of the two. Anyhow, for a little bit, I'm going to stand on principle and I'm not going to use Audible outside to use, to listen to what I already bought. But I'm re-listening to Lone. Actually, I'm not re-listening. Listening to Lonesome Dove on audiobook for the first time. I've read it no less than 3 times. Um, how many times I watched the series? But we're gonna go through Lonesome Dove for the month of April. We will probably do we'll for sure do some sort of discussion on. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to do. But anyhow, yeah, I can't state enough like how important Larry McMurtry was Western genre. Um, there was always really good Western novels. I mean, and they seem to pump out a bunch of them. There was Zane Grey or Will James or Louis L'Amour. There's a ton of them out there, but McMurtry took like the epic route, and that's hard to do. You get up there with say um like James Mitchell. He wrote the epic, and and there really is. I don't know if how many people have read Lonesome Dove, but it's I don't know. It's like 600 pages, something like that. I mean, it's a long one, but it is really well written, and and it's you haven't, and I got to hand it to the people who made the series. It just did a really really good job, and biggest thing that if you've read the book, you're just there's so many details that get left out, and just you have to. It would have been a like a three season series if they would have played it out exactly like it was in the book. So for the condensing it, they did a really good job. But it just I guess for example, the very first scene when they're all getting around, or they're all coming in from work, and then goes to goes to the bar, plays some cards, wakes up early, he's reading the good book, and then here comes Dee riding in with Jake Spoon. I don't know how long that scene lasts, but maybe 20 minutes. But that's like 6 chapters. Is when chapter 6, the first page, is when you meet Jake Spoon in the book. So there's a lot of character development that builds there, and you just don't quite get that from film. But I mean, they did a good job. It's well fucking matter. We all know it, and so uh, R.I.P. Larry McMurtry. You wrote a good one, several good ones, but your masterpiece. It was one for the ages. I mean, you've spawned songs. I mean, I name all my horses after your that novel. I named my son after the main character, and you know I've never seen I guess a fictional character or I would say a pair of fictional characters so revered in modern culture, or at least in rural culture, as Augustus McGray and Woodrow F. Call, and so it just goes to show you like the level of greatness that book was during the series. So it was, cheers, Larry McMurtry. You shaped a lot of people's lives with so you'll be missed. Did a good one here on Earth. Oh, what's else moving on in the world? News cycle's really fucking boring without Donald Trump. It's just more maddening. There's not, and there's some comedy, but it's just like sad comedy. I mean, you had the whole Air Force One falling up the stairs thing, and I don't know. It's yeah, 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 slick shoes or whatever. I don't know. Probably was. I don't care. It was funny. Um, there's that. Uh, Joe Biden had his press conference after he waited for fucking ever, and I listened to the whole thing. I listened on 1.5 speed on YouTube. Weird. Like Joe Biden fucked a chipmunk, and chipmunk got old and developed dementia and won an election somehow, and yeah, and now is serving as president of the United States as the offspring of Biden fucking a chipmunk. So, um, yeah, so that's cool. It was weird. Uh, I listened to the whole thing through just because doing my due diligence as a United States citizen, uh, an informed member of this here great republic, um, listening to the leader of the free world, and man, it just nothing. It's yeah, yeah. It's exactly what everybody thought it was gonna be. We're gonna spend more money, but I mean, hey, so did Trump. So they were just gonna spend more than Trump. Hey, Trump spent more than Obama, so you can't let that happen. He's got to spend more than Trump, and then Trump will probably get elected in 24, and he'll spend more money than the next guy. And at that point, like, yeah, I don't know, we'll just get stimulus checks every day, and guns, hooker, and drug market's gonna be fucking booming. I mean, it already is, but you know what I mean. I mean, just booming. All that stimulus. That after, like, if they keep shutting things down, the CDC where we gotta slow it down. You know, we can't. You know, we gotta draw this out for as long as possible. Apparently, um, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck is going on with the COVID deal. I mean, Texas has opened up finally. So, Governor Cripple over there is he finally decided that he'll let the people go on about their lives because that's what you do as governor. You decide when and how people can go about their lives, and you do that as a favor to them. I think. Um. Anyhow, Florida's been open since like September. They're just rocking and rolling. The NFL, Roger Goodell said he expects full stadiums for the upcoming NFL season. So, yeah, are we open or are we not? Nevada's supposed to be fully open in May, and by Nevada I mean Las Vegas and Reno. The rest of Nevada's been pretty much 100% open this whole time. Um, Anyhow, vaccine passports, fuck all that noise. Get into that here in a minute, but yeah, I so this press conference, you got the guy that can't somehow the guy who can't like answer a couple questions without falling apart. He gets through right about an hour of a press conference and question and answer. And I mean, it wasn't good, but it sounded like a dumb politician. So I guess he did a fair job there. Uh, he only bailed on a thought like one time. Heard that like he gets into oh, it's kind of like me. I get to rambling, and I get in a couple side stories that I'm all trying to, and but like he doesn't even try to tie them together, and it just but instead of like trailing off into another thought, he just like whatever, and that was weak. Um, anyhow, we got the oh, I'll save cryptocurrency for later on. Immigration. This is the big deal. It's always a big deal. Immigration's got Trump elected. Build that wall. Build that wall. Well, first thing as he coming into office, if you remember the migrant caravans coming up from Nicaragua and Guatemala, Honduras, flooding the borders, and now we got kids in cages, undocumented minors, undocumented children, rotting in cages. You know, you had the picture of the guy and his daughter face down in the Rio Grande, drowned to death. Trump's a monster. Then little you know backstory and research shows you that this um basically prisons like let's not like let's just call them for what they are. They're jails, prisons, whatever. They're immigration jails. They catch them coming across the border. And while it's not a prison per se, because they're not supposed to be there long term, it's kind of a holding facility. It's like, but it's still a detention facility, so it's a jail of some sorts. And we got a bunch of kids living in there because as they bring them all, do they throw them all into general population, just everybody with everybody? So you got the kids in with another bunch of migrants that are trying to get over here to work, but they're also in with smugglers and murderers and stuff. Like, is that a good idea, or do you separate men, women, and children and keep them in separate facilities? I don't know. Nobody's really having that conversation. But if you remember back in the caravan days document, or I mean the kids in cages days, it wasn't very long ago. But Great photo, by the way. AOC with her photo op down at the border, just crying. She got a clean white pantsuit, looking hot as shit, crying and just sultry tears of compassion into empty parking lot. And I've not seen her down at the border yet. I don't know. Maybe she has been down there. I have not seen it, but I haven't been paying attention. Ted Cruz is at the border though. He got back from Cancun. Now that the winter storm is on its way, it's run its course, and Texas is thawed out. Ted Cruz is on the mission. I'm not sure where he was in 2016 when these kids were in the cages and it was poor conditions. In 2016, 17, 18, 19. Oh yeah, 2020 as well, probably. Like all of those years, yeah, the whole kids in cages things, that it was a pretty big problem. I know the left wing media made a big issue out of it. I didn't see Ted Cruz down there. I didn't see him calling out Donald Trump about the abysmal conditions. I guess Trump let the media in there, so he couldn't hit him on that. So Trump gets the point there, because Biden wasn't allowing media in there. He did allow that in now. So I mean, kudos to him. Hitting a dollar short, but I guess he still allowed him in. What good that's gonna do, I don't know, because if you haven't noticed, the media's pretty well on Biden's side, and yeah, so I don't know what media access would do. But Ted Cruz and 18 U.S. senators, they traveled down there. They made the long, hard trip to the Donna, Texas facility, and they were just horrified by all these little Mexican kids wrapped up like burritos. I know that's a joke that has been floated around a bunch, but it is fucking hilarious and ironic, and I'm gonna roll with it. But you got a bunch of little bean burritos. I can say that because I'm half Mexican. So fuck off, everybody who thinks that's racist. Just a funny racial joke. Anyhow, bunch of bean burritos packed in there. And, packed in there tighter than a bunch of Mexicans in a minivan going to the onion fields. There we go. There's another Mexican stereotype. But it's bad conditions. But if you don't remember Ted Cruz, it was bad conditions 4 years ago. And yeah, you really fucked yourself over here a couple weeks ago, which I was really disappointed in you. I was not disappointed in you so much that you went down to Cancun. I was very disappointed in how a guy that is very savvy when it comes to politics, media, and spin and everything, and public image, and I expected a little bit more. Anyhow, but you made it down there with 18 senators, and you're gonna survey the madness. And I like I said, maybe you did do that in when Trump was in office, but I don't recall it. And in the meantime, 4 years have passed since this whole thing became a big media thing. And what has been done about it from anybody? Like, honestly, like from anybody. I don't know who, if anybody, has done anything to alleviate this problem, because it's obviously a problem for Republican administrations and Democratic administrations alike. And you could say that a bunch of the first crisis order, if you first of Uh, but back in 2017, Trump's taken office. You could say that, well, there was a big flood of illegals coming over because they wanted to get as much amnesty or whatever they could before Trump got in office. Gonna take all that away. Well, I imagine that was a fair assessment. Whether that was the truth or not of it, but I could see how that would make sense. And you could also say that there's a flood of immigrants now, because now Biden is in office and planning on relaxing immigration policies. I think that's a fair assessment. Okay, so maybe we found one of the causes of it. That's not going to get fixed anytime soon, the whole border policy. In the meantime, what the fuck are we going to do with these kids? I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what the good solution is. But shut the fuck up, Ted Cruz. You've had 4 years to try and deal with it, and what have you done? But you took the media op to go down and shit on the other side and further drive partisan politics, which is exactly what you're accusing the Democrats of doing. Which, granted, they're guilty of, but why don't you be the bigger man for once and say, hey, call up one of these liberal senators and say, what the fuck can we do about this? So we stop looking like a bunch of jackasses on the national stage and international stage. But that won't happen because that would make too much fucking sense. But hey, Joe Biden announced that Kamala Harris is on the task, putting her in charge of that. And you know what? Not a better person on earth to do that, because she knows how to put a whole bunch of black and brown people in cages. She's very good at it. So she's on the job. Kids in cages everywhere. Day. Yeah. Immigration. What the fuck are we gonna do then? I will predict this and call me a prophet, or you can say that I pay attention to history at all. But what's gonna happen is gonna be a big fight on Capitol Hill, and the Republicans are gonna accuse the Democrats on open borders, which they do, so they can import a bunch of Spanish-speaking voters who all they know is pounded in their head through community activists and whatnot that was the Democratic Party that got them in the country. So they vote Democrat, which is also true. And the Republicans, yeah, that's going to be their argument. And then the Democrats will call the Republicans racists and xenophobes and nationalists and Nazis and white supremacists. That's the new one. Domestic terrorists, because they want to keep out foreigners. Yeah, so that's what's going to happen. And then in 4 years, when either Ghost of Donald Trump or Kamala Harris is president, there will be another flood of migrants, border, more overcrowding of little bean burritos in detention facilities. As what I forget what they're calling them now. Like you know, underage immigrant playpens. Um, Playpens is too white. You can't go with that type of. Let's work through this one. So, undocumented, underage undocumented children, apprehension total fun zone. Yeah. Apprehension or detention? Detention total fun zone. Apprehension. At the Apprehension Total Fun Zone down on the Rio Grande River. Open 24/7. Yeah. Apprehension Total Fun Zones. Brought to you courtesy of the, I think, Bush, Obama, Trump, and now Biden administrations. And probably all future coming. So that's what's going to happen. And we'll be talking about this either 4 or 8 years from now. It'll probably be Ted Cruz down there again. Maybe he'll have his like full mullet this time. Maybe he'll grow a ZZ Top beard. I mean, it could be worse than it is now for old Ted Cruz's face, but I'm not sure. Either way, I'm all on I'm on board if he wants to grow ZZ Top beard and fucking sweet mullet, like keep rocking. So like 2024 Cruz is just rocking in the free world cruise, and like 2028 is just like continues rocking in the free world cruise, and maybe he starts like cutting the sleeves off his suit jacket. Lean into this, Ted Cruz, and just like set up your office on the border. It's closer to Cancun that way, and I'm pretty sure that sleeveless suit jacket is standard attire in those spring break Mexican towns. Yeah, just set up set up your office there in Laredo. Just zoom in for all of the Senate hearings. Grow out your fucking sweet mullet. You're just hop, skipping a jump away from Cancun. Switch it up. Go to Cabo every now and then. Make sure you get those media opportunities so you can talk shit on the other side publicly, while still doing nothing. That's what's gonna happen. Cryptocurrency is here to stay, folks. I don't know what that means exactly, but Visa just signed a deal. Visa, the credit card, just signed a deal to accept USDC, which is like US dollars coin or something. US dollars crypto. Either way, it's basically the US dollar version of Bitcoin, so it's directly linked to the value of the dollar. So I wouldn't suggest getting in now because US dollar is probably gonna tank. What did Bitcoin close out today? I think it was 1,000. Yeah, it's 58.5 right now. So I've got $120 invested in crypto, and it's been hovering between 180 and $200. Making money on it so far. I'm seriously considering start. I was listening to a guy on Drinking Bros podcast, former steel business owner. And he invests $25 in crypto or in Bitcoin. Not a bad idea. I think I'm going to start doing. Along on that same point, Tesla announced here the other day they would accept Bitcoin as payment for their cars. So, I don't think Elon knows everything, but I know he knows a fuckload more than I do, and he seems like a pretty straight up guy. From what I've listened to him, and Elon Musk is saying Bitcoin's where it's at. Well, I'm not saying you should jump on board, but you might ought to listen. A guy tends to know what he's talking about. Kind of wrap up on. Oh, yeah. I think we'll wrap up on. As you've noticed here in the camera's back over here, down goes Underpants. Finally, this day has come. We're all looking forward to it. We're all wondering when it was going to happen. You know, it's been a menace to society for many years. I can remember these books when I was in I think high school came out. But Captain Underpants is no more. Captain Underpants has finally been canceled, and you know what? It was a voluntary canceling. It was a self canceling because that is what any good cuckold should do. That was what any good bitch should do, is to go ahead, admit defeat, not stand up for yourself whatsoever, and just go ahead and cancel you. And I don't know if it was Captain Underpants itself, but I know for sure the book that he wrote in 2010. So this guy that wrote it, his name is Dave Pilkey, or is it Dav? I don't know. There's no E at the end of Dave, so I've been we're homeschooling, so I've been helping my daughter learn how to read, and I had to do some refreshers on the whole rules of English, whatnot. So there's no E, just DAV. So what I would tell my daughter is that would make the short A sound. So I'm going to call him Dav Pilkey. He also wrote a book, like I said, in 2010 called The Adventures of Ook and Gluck. Features 2 time-traveling cavemen who want to save the world and train at Master Wong's School of Kung Fu. Seems pretty harmless. You would think, because you're a racist. Elastic said in a statement it has removed the book from its website, stopped fulfillment of any orders, also asked for a return of all inventory. Will also inform schools and libraries who may still have this title in circulation of our decision to withdraw it from publication. The decision came after Billy Kim, Korean-American father, noticed problematic imagery in his son's copy of the Pilkey book. Posted a complaint to change.org, saying the book includes a kung fu master wearing what's purported to be traditional style tang coat, dashes for eyes for the Asian characters, and stereotypical Chinese proverbs. Pilkey called Kim, 2 sons, ages 7, just a few days after it was posted. He then went on to publicly apologize. It was and is wrong and harmful to my Asian readers, friends, family, and to all Asian people. Statement. He noted that even unintentional passive stereotypes and racism are harmful to everyone. That's Kim said the conversation was a great example of how open dialogue can bring about positive change, and added that he and his family remain fans of Pilkey. Grateful that Mr. Pilkey immediately acknowledged my concerns and responded in a collaborative and meaningful way. I do not believe he felt pressured to pull this book out of fear of being canceled, Kim said. Rather, I feel his decisions are a reflection of his empathy and kindness. Our conversation is a great example of how open dialogue can bring about positive change. Family and I remain friends, and his Pilkey said he's determined to make this a teachable moment. He and his wife have pledged to donate the book's advance and royalties to charities that provide free art services to children from underserved communities, those that promote diversity in children's books and publishing, and organizations designed to stop Asian hatred. Why didn't you do that before if it was such a big concern? Passive Asian racism will be the downfall of this goddamn country. Good for you, Dav Pilkey. Good for you, Dav. You show them that when push comes to shove and the rubber meets the road, that yeah, you ain't not about stand behind your work if it means that you might lose a paycheck. And as I said, let me pull. Captain Underpants been around for a long time. Very, very popular book series, and I know my nephews have read it throughout the years. I've got a bunch of nephews, all read Captain Underpants. I wonder how are you gonna cancel Captain Underpants? Like it's not going to go away. He's on Netflix. He's on fucking Netflix. Let's. It was first 97. Holy shit! I was in elementary school. Dave Pilkey, Dav Pilkey. My apologies, Pilkey. Or is it they Pilkey? I don't know. Like, are you identifying as a man? Are you a man? I don't know what kind of name Dav is. Dav Pilkey. Net. Dav Pilkey. It is a guy, as it would seem, 55 years old, from Cleveland, Ohio. Well, he's a Browns fan. Of course he's going to roll over. He's just used to getting beat into the dirt. Huh. He's worth $50 million, estimated as of 2021. He appears to have a Japanese wife, which makes him guilty of even passiver racism. You. He's Chinese. Okay. So he wrote a book, kid's book, by the way, about kids playing like Kung Fu Master. Something that happened time used to. I mean, back when we were all racist. So we can't allow that. No more playing Kung Fu for any of you white children. God damn it. Like, know your role. Eat mayonnaise sandwiches and listen to shitty country music on the radio and drink all the Mountain Dew in the world because That's what you're good at, Whitey. And I can say this as a half white, and I'm ashamed of the white part, obviously. You know, full disclaimer, I'm ashamed of all the whiteness. Because that's what you have to do to survive in this day and age. Because God forbid you be guilty of passive racism, which is defined by somebody else who just happens to spend every waking moment of their miserable fucking existence looking for an example of racism. So I'm going to go ahead and say a little prayer now to the pure, sweet, innocent little 12-year-old Korean kid who is running our simulation. Can you just please hit the reset button? Let us start over. I don't even care if if I'm not part of the new simulation. That's fine. But the path we're on right now is fucking stupid, and I just assume if you got bored with this map and just moved to another, that would be cool. I'm not sure how the whole simulation thing works, so you might have to explain it to somebody further down the road when we get into the whole mechanics behind turning off the simulation. Because I'm obviously I'm not an expert at that level. But if you could do that, that'd be pretty cool, and we can get back to like some sort of normal life where it's okay for kids to pretend to be a fucking ninja because ninjas are cool. Kung Fu is cool. Like, I still like watching Kung Fu movies. Is that cultural appropriation to watch a Kung Fu movie? Am I allowed as a half Mexican man to eat a jalapeno with my corn tortillas and beefsteak? Is that allowable? Or am I going to be canceled for asking that question, or should I just know? I mean, just assume and know that I'm because I'm half white, I'm just already not good enough. It's so confusing. But I'm like, how much of your royalties are you donating to end Asian hatred? I mean, is it like $20 or is it millions? And is that going to help? I don't know of anybody outside of World War II veterans that hate Asians anymore. And, I guess for like full clarification, I don't know if I'd say it was so much racism back then as, yeah, I guess it was probably racism. I don't know if a lot of those vets, at least the ones that I talked to that served over in the theater, I don't know so much if they thought they were better than the Japanese, if that the Japanese was an inferior race. They just know that they fucking hated them because they killed each other. For about 4 years there, 4 year running battle of just killing each other in very gruesome ways. So, if that's racism, so be it. I don't know. I think it's just more of a sheer hatred, general hatred. But since then, I guess you might say there's been a little bit of a resurgence of hatred towards the Chinese government. I don't think Chinese people as a whole, but that's what the media narrative. I think just about everybody on Earth, including the Chinese government, recognizes that is a piece of shit institution. They're awful, and yeah, I think that's pretty clear. Outside of that, I don't I don't think there's a whole lot of Asian hatred. I mean, a lot of weird Asian shit. Japanese in particular, they're kind of known for being weird shit. But hey, do your thing, I guess, as long as you keep making cool iPhones and shit. Like, try to keep your viruses contained to a lab if at all possible. when they get out, it tends to have some bad repercussions. Turns out, I don't know if you heard that, but the former CDC director came out and said that this thing was made in the lab and it got got leaked out on accident. Um, which also, if you would have said that way back in whenever it was, March, April, May, June, like a bunch of people were, and you'd get banned off of social media for being a conspiracy theorist and spreading misinformation. So, yeah, glad to know that they took precaution there. That's super. Yeah, but good for you, Dav Pilkey, Pilkney, Dav Pinky. Anyway, good for you. Go in that Asian hatred, solidarity, but 50 million bucks. Boy, you so brave. So can you not just tell what was this guy's name? Something Kim. Bobby Kim. Billy Kim. Here's what you say, Daft Pilkey. Dear Mr. Billy Kim, are you even really Korean? I notice your first name is Billy. I'm not convinced. I've read over your complaint, and after much inner turmoil and anguish, I must respectfully tell you to go suckle upon my scrotum and or penis. It's a kid's book. It's all in good fun. And you are just upset that Kung Fu comes from China and North Korea, all that your people is known for. You have a sad life, and I apologize for that, even though it is no fault of my own. I hope you have a shitty day. Adios, or sayonara. There you go. That's how you handle that, Dav Pilkey. Who fucking cares that some uptight Korean Karen of a dad got butt hurt over a stupid kid's book? Very well done, by the way. My kids love that show. I've read those books over the years. They're funny. It's very funny. Grow a fucking pair, dude. Come on. Grow a fucking pair. This cancel culture shit is fucking toxic, man. It is fucking toxic. If you are not allowed to speak openly, say your mind without fear of, political retribution, or whatever, losing your job because you support one political candidate over another, or pulling not just like they stop publication, they refuse to fulfill orders and are asking to return all the inventory of this kids book, a harmless fucking kids book. You're gonna do all that. And what are you gonna do when you recall the inventory? I assume you're gonna burn them. So you're gonna go full Hitler and just burn Ook and Gluck, relatives of Captain fucking Underpants. Please, little sweet Korean kid, I don't relation anymore. Please make it stop. Anyhow, on a brighter note, spring, Brandon season's coming. We're gonna do. I need to get together with a couple people who may sponsor this, but we're gonna do another giveaway for Brandon season, and we're gonna do things a little different, but it'll be another some sort of either I don't know if it's gonna be a Bronchi Colts during a Brandon or it's gonna be Cool Loops or maybe just Rex. I don't know, but we're gonna have a whole branding themed giveaway, and working on that. We'll try to get it going here for the month of April sometime. And we've also added a couple tiers on the Patreon. So if you'd like to sponsor the dick joke of the bull session, that's at the $25 level. $100 a month can get you an ad read a week. Be an ad read, or shout out to one of your buddies. Get on one of your buddies. Announce some event that's upcoming. Whatever you want to do, give it to me in about a 60 to 90-second form, and I'll shout it out there for you. Outside of that, make sure you go follow, subscribe, like all that horse shit, and move your ass. We're burning daylight.